Alrighty, book 4 of the Aeneid, lines 304 to 330. We have Dido's kind of rage-filled accusatory speech against Aeneas. She's just figured out he's leaving, and it's sort of her heartbreaking plea for him to stay. And so she starts out, and finally she compels Aeneas further with these words. So this is what she says. Did you even hope to be able to hide or to cloak such a crime, traitor, perfide, traitorous one, and silent to depart from my land? Does neither our love, nor your right hand having been given formerly, nor Dido about to die from a cruel death, did none of those things, do they not hold you? Do they not hold you, right? So there are those three things. I'm extemporizing a little bit, right, to make it make sense in English, but did our love not hold you? Did your right hand, having been formerly given, not hold you? Does Dido, about to die from a cruel death, not hold you? Right? So it's a little repetitive. Moreover, do you even hurry to prepare to set in motion your fleet in a winter season, and to go through the deep in the middle of the winter winds, right? And those are the northern winds, so the winter winds. Cruel one, she calls him crudalis, which is the same word that Anna calls her after she stabs herself, and Anna is being abandoned. So abandoned people apparently view their abandoners as cruel. She says, what if you were not seeking foreign fields and unknown homes, and ancient Troy remained? Would Troy be sought through the stormy or the wavy sea by your fleets? Right? Like, why are you making this journey in winter? It's dangerous. You're going to die. And then maybe she comes to the realization, right? Like, it can't be, like, that's a stupid idea. Like, I thought we were in love. He's leaving in the winter when it's super dangerous. So she's like, uh-oh. Fugus me. Are you fleeing me? And then she says, through these tears and your right hand, since now I myself have left nothing else to miserable me. The oro is in line 319, so we'll have to come back to that. That's because the te is the object of that, right? So, so she has tears, right? That's all she has left. Here we go. We'll zoom in a little bit. Okay. Through our marriages, and through the wedding hymns having been begun, if I deserved well anything from you, or if anything of mine was sweet for you, pity a falling house. This takes a genitive. It's an imperative taking a genitive. And I, oro te, right? I beg you, if there is any place yet for prayer, discard that intention, meaning discard that intention to leave. Don't go. If I have any bearing over you, if I have any pull, if I have any weight with you, if I meant anything to you, don't go. And as we know, it's not going to convince him. Let me just zoom so we see this stuff. Oh, there we go. Okay, so propter is on account of. That's why it's AO or OAO, right? On account of you, the tribes of Libya and the tyrants of the nomads, oderunt me, right? Hate me. This is another one of those syncopated perfect forms. The Tyrians are hostile. The Tyrians are her people. On account of the same you, my honor, my pudor, extinctus est, has been destroyed. And my former reputation, my fama prior, right? So here's fama as a reputation. It's rumor, but it's also reputation. It's a word that means a couple things, right? So her honor and her reputation have been destroyed. And by which thing I was reaching the stars. Sorry, the and goes with the fama prior. For what do you desert me about to die, guest? Since this name alone remains from husband, right? So he's no longer a husband. The only title left that makes sense for him is a guest. That's all he is. He has no other status than guest. She says, why do I delay? And this is a weird question. Why do I delay? Delay doing what? Well, her following questions are going to kind of let us see what she's thinking about delaying or not delaying. Do I, we assume, delay until my brother Pygmalion destroys the walls, or Gaetulian Iarbas, good old Iarbas, leads me as a captive. So to avoid those fates, which would be terrible, she would be killed. She says, why do I delay? Why would I wait for those terrible deaths when I can just get it over with now, is sort of the subtext. Anyhow, she writes, so she sort of like dismisses that thought. If any offspring had been received from you for me before your flight, if any little Aeneas might play in the palace, who by his face, however, might bring you back, then we assume, truly, I might not seem entirely captured and deserted. Oof. This is a heartbreaking speech of a woman who thought everything was going great. She thought she was in love. She thought she had this common law marriage with, a prince among men. And all of a sudden, the rug is ripped out from underneath her, and her world comes crashing down. And this is going to lead to her eventual death. So that is that section. It's a pretty dark one, but we'll pick up at 3:31.